Hi guys, it's Katie here again from Creativa, and I'm starting a new project today, and this one's quite exciting. I'm just going to get into it and start talking because I hate it when the intros are really long. So I'm making a journal today, or starting a journal today. I'm using my journal pack. There is a whole video about this journal pack that you can find in a playlist on my YouTube channel, and I will link it here so I don't blather about it here and you think, oh my god, this is so boring. Right, so I'm using this journal pack, and then the exciting bit is that I'm collaborating on this project with Dorothy from Done by Dorothy. So Dorothy has a YouTube channel and I'll link it below. She has an Etsy store and I'll link that below. And we are both going to use this journal pack to make a journal, and we're also going to use some digitals from her collection to make the journals. So we're using this set of SVG files, which are scalable vector graphic files for electronic cutting machines, and there's more info about that in the previous video, so I won't go into that. But these are the digital packs that I'm using that are done by Dorothy. So there's 6 that I'm going to use to make my journal, and Dorothy is also going to use these 6, and she's also going to use the journal pack, and we're going to see at the end what we both come up with, so that'll be really interesting. I also think this might be the first time that 2 different designers have come together to do something like this. So I design scalable vector graphic files, and Dorothy designs graphic digital files, and I don't think that anybody of those 2 types of designers have ever come together to do something like this before. If they have, I don't know about it, but anyway, I think that's really exciting. So I'm using these 6. There's the Rose Splendor journal kit, the Romancing Rosey marbled paper pack, the Ghostly Rose journal pages, the basic Pattern Rose 5-color set, the Ghostly Rose Ephemera kit, and the Rose and Linen 5-page set. So that's what I'm using from Dorothy, and this is what I'm using from myself, the journal pack. And we're going to make a journal. So let me put those to the side while I make a confession. Here's my confession. Oh, there's 2. The first one is I've already started. The reason I've already started is all I've done is make the cover and sew in my 2 signatures. I have already done that, exactly the same process, in another video, and I will link that video here so that you can just go and watch that one. And because there's so many YouTube creators and junk journal experts who can show you how to sew signatures into your cover, and I thought that might be a really boring video, and I'm not quite sure how I would fill all of that time while I sew in pages, because I'm not an expert. Anyway, I have already created my cover. To decide what size my cover was going to be, I have just made it a little bit bigger than the size of my pages. That's it. So I'm using A4 pages, and so when I fold an A4 page in half, it becomes an A5 page. So I've just taken my A4 page and folded it in half. It's now an A5 page. I measured my covers to be a little bit bigger than this A5 page all the way around. And then I added a 6 centimetre spine and sewed my signatures in with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm happy to do a video on that if you'd like to see it. I'm more than happy to. Anyway, so all I've done then is covered my cover that in coffee stained paper, because I leave my embellishing to the end. I follow a bit of a process when I do journals, and embellishing and decorating is the last thing I do, and that is usually the case for the cover as well. It sort of develops as I go along. Anyway, my signatures themselves are 15 A4 pages folded in half, and I have used coffee stained paper. I have some baking paper, a piece of plain old copy paper, but it's pink, some more coffee stain paper. Here's one of the pages from the digital kits from Done by Dorothy. This is the Ghostly Rose journal pages. I think it's beautiful, beautiful. This is from the basic pattern rose set from Dorothy. And then this is just a book page, a piece of masking paper, more coffee stain paper, a piece of music paper, more copy paper, more masking paper, more coffee stain paper, a book page, you know, from a novel, more coffee stain paper, another one of the pages from Dorothy's Ghostly Rose journal pages. This is from her Roses and Linen 5-page set. Some more coffee paper. And that's it. That is what I've got in one signature. And then the second signature is almost exactly the same. So when I sit down and work it out, I choose, there's one from the Ghostly Rose as well. Journal pages. And then there's one more in here. This one here. Lovely. What's the other side of that one look like? Can I find it? There. Isn't that beautiful? So my signatures almost exactly mirror each other. I tell you, I do things in a very methodical and logical manner, for me anyway. So that's my cover, and then I've sewn around the edges. My cover is quite soft. I used the back of a scrapbook paper pack to make mine, so it's quite flexible, but once we put bits and pieces on it, it will become a bit more sturdy. I've sewn around the edges of that because it's quite thin. I could put it through my sewing machine. So I've just done a zigzag stitch around there, and then because it is a bit flimsy, I've just put some book pages, book corners, little metal book corners on the edge, and that's it. It's pretty plain. So the next step that I like to do is pockets. So I'm going to cut out some pockets from my journal packs. So I will cut out pocket 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. The corner pocket, and because I'm using A4 size paper, these two A4 length pockets here. I'm going to cut out as many of those as I can. So let me show you what I mean by that. I've got these collage papers here that I've already collaged. So I collage onto masking paper, so it's pretty thin, and which means that it's really easy for me to sew on. So I'm going to sew these. But these are, I printed out 5 pages from Dorothy's kits, ripped them into little pieces, and then just made these collage masterboards, I guess you could call them. And I love to cut my pockets out of these. I think you end up collaging on your pockets anyway. So I just make some sheets up like this, and I've got 3 of them. These are 12 inches wide by 11 inches, and that's just because that was the width of the masking paper, but that sits really nicely on my Cricut mat. So then I've got 3 of these, and then I had a little scrappy bit on the side. I think that's about 6 inches. And I just try to cut as many of these pockets out of these sheets as I can. And then I have also cut out a few just out of coffee stain paper. And then I just go for it and put them all in my journal. So what I'll do is I'll go away now and cut out as many pockets of these pockets as I can out of this. Then I'll stitch around them. Oh, I've got stuff falling all over the place. Then I'll stitch around them, and then I'll come back and we'll put them in the journal together and look at some different ways that we can add pockets in. So I'll go ahead now and go and cut these out. I just wanted to show you these before I cut them out so it made sense to you. And then I'll come back and we'll put them in the journal. So I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. Okay guys, I'm back, and I have cut out all of my pockets, as many as I could get out of those collage sheets, and then I've just stitched around it on my sewing machine. And so I have a big pile of pockets here, and I've got some idea of I've got some ideas, but we'll just see how it goes. Right, so let's have a look. The first thing I had a thought about was using some of these long pockets. These two here, they're pretty nifty. So I've just kind of separated my pockets out into the different sizes just to keep a grip on things. So I'm using the A4 Pocket 2, so they're as long as my page. If you're using letter size paper, then you'd use one of the letter ones for this. Okay, so let's pop that over here. And instead of using it as a pocket, I'm going to use it as a flip. So I'm going to cut these little tabs off the sides. I'm even just going to use my scissors, which is not something I do. I'm just following that score line and trimming that tab off both ends. Like that. And I'm going to do one of each of these in my 2 signatures. So I will do the same with this one. I can't see my line, so I'll just hope for the best. So if you're an inker, now's a good time to ink. I usually am an inker, but I'm actually making a really big effort to not ink because it's not that exciting to watch somebody ink. And also I want to keep my journal fairly light looking, and I have been trying really hard to do less inking because it takes ages and I get a sore hand. Okay, so in here, in this first signature, I was thinking about using the middle part, and I'm going to attach one of these guys on there. So I'm just going to fold over that tab, and my plan is to attach it to this side here, this edge of the page. So let's do that. Let's just do it. So at the beginning of the video, I said I had 2 confessions to make. So my first one was that I'd already started the journal. My second one is I've never really used a junk journal kit before, so this is new to me, and I'm not, or a digital kit, and I'm not an expert at using them, and so I'm recording differently than usual, and so I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts. Because I usually have a really clear idea of what I'm doing before I do a video, and I don't, and so it's a little bit disconcerting. So bear with me. Okay, so I've got a little flap here. Oh, probably need to give that a little burnish there, like that. And it's poking off the edge of the page, which means I didn't do a very good job of trimming. What's it like on this side? Perfect on that side. So this is just where I couldn't see my line. So let's just trim that off. Like so. Okay, so I've got a little flap. It's still not stuck down very well. I might have to go in with a bit of extra glue. I'll do that later though, I won't bore you with it. So then I was going to bring this page back and figure out where this folded over. I'll put a little line there where it comes up to. And then I'm going to fold this over, and I think I want to fold it over about there. Let's give it a little bit more. I'm going to fold my page over. I'll just line it up with the bottom. Let's see. So then I've got a little gap there. What do you think? Should I make it less? It's not even very straight folding, Katie. Maybe I should make it a little bit less. Let's go with about there. I'm just going to fold that over. Hang on, I've got to turn my book sideways. I'm going to fold it like that. Yes. And then, yeah, that looks better. Yep. Okay, so then I'm going to put some glue down each of these sides and glue it together so it's now a pouch. I might trim some of this off. We don't need this because we're not even going to see it because it's being hidden in our little pouch. I'll put some glue here and here and fold it over and glue it down. Just smush that glue all over the page. Okay, and then I'll fold that over. I might even make little rounded bits on there. Feeling fancy. Oh, I don't think I can now. Stuck it down. Never mind. So now I'm going to stick this little bit down here. Oh, I've already messed up. I've messed up because I want to put a closure on here and probably shouldn't have glued it down first. But there's our little pouch. And we have this little tuck spot as well, if that glued. So, to seal up our little pouch, I'm going to put one of these little doodads here. A little eyelet, maybe. So, I'm just going to find the centre, because I'm a bit pedantic about centres. So my centre is here. I'll put it there. And then I'll do the same over here. I think it might need to be about here. So my centre's about there. Whoops, broke my pencil. And then I'm just going to find I'll find my awl. I'm back. Okay, so I'm just going to poke a hole in here where I'm going to put this little thing, and then I'm going to put a hole in here, and this is where I've stuffed up because I should have done this first, but there we go. Oh, that hole's a bit big. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my little punch, and I have some cardstock here, and I've used this pink. I've cut something out already in this pink cardstock, so yeah, I thought I'll keep using it. So let's see what it looks like on here. Oh, yeah, that'll do. I'm going to make some of those little circles. Put that there. And we'll glue a couple of these together. Like so. So how is everyone? This is I feel like I should be chatting. People are so good at it. I don't feel like I'm very good at the chit chat, the small talk that people do in videos. I suppose I could tell you what's been happening around here lately. Today is a public holiday Monday because yesterday was Anzac Day, which is obviously pretty big in Australia. And usually lots of people go away for the weekend, but we're in lockdown. It's just a 3-day lockdown. Happens to just coincide with the entire long weekend, so there's a lot of people who aren't happy about that. But we weren't planning on going anywhere, so it's no skin off our nose. I might ink this little guy up. Make him look a little bit, make him stand out against the busy collage flap. Okay, and then I'm going to put a brad in this one. I want to try and put an eyelet in this one. Not very good at the eyelet business. I've got these here. Put an eyelet open that one. I can't put one in there now, can I? Because I stuffed up. I wonder if I could unstuff it. We could try. Let's do this one first. Okay. So I need to make that hole a bit bigger. Where's my crocodile? Will it reach in there? Okay. So I'm going to use the big hole. Squash it down. And then I'm going to put this in here. God, and so I nearly stuffed it up. Got to put the big hole in here. Like so. Yep. I'm going to thread that through there and that through there, and then this on this side. Oop. Like so. And then I've got to get my crocodile on this. This is really hilarious. Got some glue on there. Okay, here we go. I'll try and get all of this together. I don't think I'm lined up properly with my crocodile. No, I've totally stuffed it. Okay, try again. Trying to line it up. Doesn't feel like it's doing the right thing. I might have to come back and fix that up later because it doesn't feel right. It needs to be tighter. Anyway, I can do that later. You get the idea, right? So we've got the little doobie there. Then I need some ribbon. Got a little bit of pink ribbon here. I'm just going to tie around and try and tie around underneath here. Like so. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but this is how I'm doing it. Okay, you might need a double knot that. Right, and then we'll trim this off. Probably need to sort that out a little bit, but I won't waste your time. Okay, so then I have these brads, these pearl ones. I thought that might be kind of cute on here, or do I want to use that one there? They're pretty bulky. I don't know, that's not a very good one though. The leg's not very long. Let's try another one. Okay, here we go. I just thread that through there and do that on there like that. How's that? And then a bit of ribbon, snip that off and wrap it around like that. Something like that. I might need to change that ribbon over. Might need to make it longer or something. I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, so that's a little pouch. I like it. And I'll keep this one for the second signature, and I'm thinking maybe I'll do that off camera. Maybe we'll just do one signature together and then I'll do exactly the same thing in the second signature. But anyway, that's cute. Okay, then I had some other ideas. What other ideas did I have? I might keep that one for later. Okay, we have got another one of these long pockets, but this one is one of the more narrow ones here, this little skinny one here. And I'm thinking I might make it into a belly band. And normally I'd cut that off, but I might just glue it down. So I'll just glue this long tab down onto itself, like so. Whoop. Okay, and then just fold that in, and that one, and we'll find somewhere to put it. Maybe, see, I want to try and use up pages that have got some print on them. Is this long enough, this page? Yes, let's put it there. No, let's put it there. Yep, it's got to make that decision. I'm so indecisive. That's why I do things like doing these collage sheets, because otherwise I will spend forever trying to decide what I'm going to cut out of what type of paper. And so I find that the collage sheets really make life easier for indecisive people like me. Okay, so there is a belly band. Easy peasy. Right, what else do I have? Oh, I've got these I wanted to show you. These are a bit of a different idea. So these aren't the collage pockets that I've cut out, but these are some pockets that I've cut out. Let's go ahead and do those. So I'm going to put 2 of those aside for my other signature. And I'm also going to put one of these skinny guys here to the side for my signature, so that I've got as much in my second signature as I've got in my first one. So these pockets here I've cut out of cardstock, out of craft cardstock, and I've put some acetate behind it, and I've stitched all the way around. So that pocket is pocket 2. So pocket 2 doesn't have a hole in it. So on my Cricut, I've just sliced a hole in it to make a little see-through pocket, which is kind of cute. But then if you fold it in, you can see the tabs behind it. So then, like on this one here, I've put a little bit of backing paper in here. So let's just do that together. So I have cut out my pocket 2, and on my Cricut I sliced it. I sliced a window out of it. Super easy. You just detach the score lines, and then you find whatever shape it is you want to cut out. This was a round edged rectangle. Sized it down, lined it up where I wanted it, and then click slice. Deleted the bits that the middle sections here, and then I reattach my lines back onto it and cut it out, and it's ready to go. So I'm just going to attach this guy here. So this is the mat, and normally we would put a mat on top, but in this instance I've cut a mat out of acetate and I've stuck it on the inside, and this one's going to go at the back as well. So I'll just flip it over, and I'm lining up this edge with the edge of my pocket. And then I'm just going to, I've got to turn it this way, sorry. I'm going to line this up with the edge of my pocket. Make sure that I can turn in my little tabbies. And then I'm just going to put some glue on my tabs. And glue those down like that. And give it a good press, make sure that it's stuck. And then I'm going to do the same on these shorter ones. Fold those in. And this one. Oops, that one just flipped over. Put that one down like that. I'm just going to turn the whole thing over and give it a squash. Make sure it's attached. How's that? beautiful. So now we've got a little pocket like that, and it's a little see-through pocket. So I'm just going to stick a couple of those on my page. So I've got to decide where to put them. I'm going to put a longer bit of string on this and fix that one up. I'll do that later. And I don't know if he's going to stay. Let's see, what have we got? What have we got? I like to use the pages that you wouldn't necessarily write on because, you know, I think it's nice to be able to use the writing pages for writing pages. I think I'm very indecisive. This is why I usually want to know what I'm doing before I start. Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. That's bugging me. Let's go with this one. Here we go. All right. So now I'm just going to put glue on this whole thing, this whole section. I'll just start with that, and then I'm just going to put some glue on the paper as well. I probably should have figured out where I was going to put this pocket on the actual page before I started. Okay, so let's have a look. This guy could go there, and then this one can go here. And should we butt them right up against the edge? Yeah, let's. All right. So just give that a good press. And do the same with this one. And glue that one down. Like that. Give it a good press. Okay. So now we have some little pockets in here like this. Aren't they cute? So then we can put some things in. So these are the square pieces that I cut out of here. So I've just used a bit of my scraps and matted them. Now I don't think that they're big enough, so we probably won't use them there, but I do have them spare for a pocket later on, and later on I might make something that fits in here, and I think it'd be nice if it stuck out a bit. So there's a couple of those pockets. They're pretty cool. Okay, I'm back. Just a little break in transmission there, sorry about that. Had to go off and do something, but while I was gone I went ahead and put some bits and pieces in my second signature, and we're going to do the same thing in the first signature. So before the break we had done this guy here, and I fixed it up. I put a flat brad in there, and so that sits much better now. I'm happy with that. And then we did these two little guys here. So now I have some other pockets to put in here. We also did the little belly bands. So what have I got? Let's start with these guys here. So I'll just put the book to the side for the minute. These are 4 of the pocket ones that I've got here. So, and I also cut out mats for them because I've just cut these out of coffee stain paper, but I've got a plan, I've got an idea. I'm going to give it a whirl. So I cut out 4 mats for these as well. So what we're going to do is make little flip out pockets. So with 2 of these guys, look at the staining on them there, lovely, lovely. I'm going to stick 2 together. So I'm going to stick this guy onto here. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on there and glue that on. Oh, should I do it like this? Thinking out loud. Yeah, let's just stick it on here for now. So I'm going to just glue this one on here. Just line that up along there and like that. like so. And I'm going to do the same with this one. So we'll just put a bit of put a bit of glue on here and stick this one down on here like so. So they're stuck together. I'm just going to leave them open for the moment. I always get glue everywhere. I'm just going to leave them open for the moment because I'm going to use my Big Shot. Now, I haven't used my Big Shot, big bad boy, forever, but let's have a go. I have these, and I always forget to use them, these Sizzix Thinlets, and I like this lacy one here, and so I was thinking that we might cut through these. Now, if I was a smart person, I would have cut a hole in these with my Cricut, but I wasn't thinking. But anyway, it's nice to be able to use the old die cutting machine occasionally. So if you don't have a die cutting machine, you could just cut something into the pocket itself like we did for the window pockets. Let me get my bad boy out. And this is just copy paper, so you can see I don't use it very often. It's dusty. Ooh. Dusty. Okay, so I'm going to have two pockets. If we line them up together, and then if we decide where we want to put it, yeah, I'm going to put, I've got my two together, and then I think I'm going to put this guy on here like that, and just stick it down like that. I need a bit more light, that's better. And then we'll sandwich it, that one on there like that. Do I need this for a thinly? You can, it's been so long. Yeah, it's supposed to go on the bottom. Okay, it's been so long since I've used it. Okay, there we go. Now I just want to check that I haven't wobbled that around. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. And we're going to go. Yeah, it's been so long since I've used it, it's dusty. And I've forgotten how to use it. Should I just run it through one more time? I feel like I should. I hope it's gone through all four. It's only copy paper, so everything crossed. Yeah, it looks like it has. Okay, so let's put this back again. You can go and gather some more dust. And we'll take our thin lit off here. Oh, that looks snazzy. I've just transferred all the dust to my pocket. Okay, open it up and have to poke some holes out. Okay guys, I'm back, and I just went ahead and poked all those little bits out because that would have been a bit tedious to watch. And now I'm going to use my mat. So these are pocket ones, so I cut the pink mat out, and I've cut it out of this paper, and I've got 4 of these. So I'm going to glue these in here now. So to do that, I'm going to use my fine line glue. I'm going to hope that it, and I'm just going to go around the bits that I can anyway, around like this, and maybe through here, around the edges. I'm not doing every little bit because that would take me forever. I'm just going to go around the edges, and then around the edges of my like so. Maybe we should put some glue in here. I'm just going to glue this one down. Just going to make sure that I cover up all of the bit that we cut out. Like so. Let's have a look. Oh, doesn't that look sweet? It looks like when you have a lace tablecloth on your table and you've got something underneath. Well, I remember we always used to have that on the table when we were a kid. And that's what it looks like. Lovely. So then I'm going to do the same on this side. And across here. Around here. Around the flower, and then around here. Put a bit of glue there. And then we can put a mat on here. We'll glue that down. Oh, that's so sweet. So sweet. Okay, so I'll do the other one in a second. So now we can glue this together. So I'm going to fold that one in, and I'm going to fold one of these in as well. So I'll put some glue on here. It helps if you take the lid off. Okay, and we're just going to put some glue on this, and some glue on one of these. Hang on, where is it? Yeah. Put some glue on this side. And then I'm just going to flip it over and close it down. Okay, so then this little flap here is what we're going to attach it to the page with. And these two here we're going to trim off. So I'll just get out my cutting board. Sorry about the noise. I've got millions of things piled up on top. I'm just lining up the score line. And I'm just going to trim it off. Like so. And then I'm going to put a little hole in the... I'm just going to find the centre. Put a little mark there. Pretty technical. I'm just using my punch board. I'm just going to line up that centre line and punch, and then we've got that little bit there. That is so cute. Look at that. Alright, so I'm just going to do that for the other one, and then we'll put them in the book. Okay, so there's our two little pockets. I think they look lovely. So we can put them in our book now. So just going to find a spot to put them. As I think I said before, but I like to put them on pages that you probably wouldn't write on quite so much. So I don't like to put too much on the coffee stain pages if I can help it. But I might have to. And I don't like to put anything on my kit pages, or some of them I will. I've done that page. Oh, maybe I'll put them on here. Let's have a look what that looks like. So I'm just going to fold that little flap in. Yeah, actually I might put them on this page. That looks nice. Like so. Yeah, so I'm just going to glue them in like that. So just put a little bit of glue on here. And pop it on here like so. And the same with this one. My dogs are barking, sorry about that. What can you do? they're outside, but it's still noisy. I took them for a walk before as well to wear them out so they'd be quiet while I recorded. Well, apparently I didn't tell them that's what my plan was because they're not quiet. Okay, so there's those two little pockets there. So we made them a bit fancy like this, but in the second signature I put some. Okay, I put these ones in the second signature. So I just used some of the paper from Done by Dorothy's kit. This is the basic pattern rose set, and this is the brownie colour. So I just cut the pockets and stuck them together. I didn't do anything fancy. So you can do that as well, and you can do them out of coffee stain paper or tea stain paper, whatever you like. I just thought I'd just show you another way of doing them, and I think they're really sweet. Now I can't find them. There they are. I really like them. I think they look really sweet. So we can pop something in there later. Okay, let's do some more pockets. What else do I have? Oh, I've got these guys here. So these ones, let's get this guy out of the way again. Whoops. These ones are pocket 2 and pocket 3. So pocket 2 and pocket 3 are the same width, and pocket 1 and pocket 4 are the same width. So it makes it really easy to stack them up. So this is pocket 2, and then this is pocket 3. And so that means that if you wanted to, you could stack them on top of each other like this, or like this. Or what we're going to do now is make this into a flap and make it a little, like a little envelope on the page like that. So let's do that and pop these away. And of course you could do the same thing with pocket 1 and pocket 4. Alright, so pop that out the way. And I'm going to trim the side tabs off these two little pockets here. So I'll just get out my cutting board and line up that score line as best I can and trim that off and line them up again. Line up that score line on my cutting board and snip that off. And then on these pockets, I might do that little notch. So you could use your circle punch to do the notch, but I'm notoriously bad at doing them. So anyone who's been watching me for a while will know that I try to resist using it. I like this different little notch anyway. So I'm just finding the center, and I just gave it a little crease. So I wouldn't do that if I was making a mini album. I would measure it, but you know, you can be a little bit lazy with junk journals. Okay, we'll see how this goes because I'm punching through stitching. And I think you can tell that. Oh, the stitching's stuck. Okay, there's one, and there's the other. So I probably shouldn't have stitched around that beforehand, but you know, we're living on the edge here. Find my little scissors. I'll just trim that off on this side. And the same with this one. And this side. Okay, that's all good. Okay, and then I'm going to round my little corners on these two because we're going to make those into little flaps, like so. Okay, and then we can just pop it in our book. So should we have a look where I've done it in the back? In the second signature I have already done that. So there's one there. So I've done the opposite. I put the collage paper on top for this one, and that I'll put the little notch there so it's a little bit easier to get into this pocket. And then I have done it on another page somewhere as well. Here, this one. Looks nice on the brown paper. Might do that at the front. Okay, so let's go back to the first signature and find a spot for our little pocket. So I liked it on the brown paper, so let's do that. So I'm going to use this guy here, so I'm just going to turn in all of those. That one looks like it could do with being folded a bit better. Let me just give that a bit of a crease. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to just put a bit of glue on here. And I'm just going to pop it down on here. Try to anyway. Okay, now we're off. Pop that one on there. Push it down. And then I'm just going to take one of these and put some glue on this tab along here. And slide it in. Try not to get glue everywhere. Famous last words. Slide it in and push it down, just wiping that glue off. There we go, and then we have a little pocket there. That's kind of cute, I like that. And put things in here. Alright, so let's do one more. Where should we put this one? Let's go with one on, should we do it on this one as well? Let's, because I liked it. So I'm just going to fold these in again, and they kind of need burnishing. I didn't do a very good job with that. And this one. Okay, and then we can fold them all together. And put a little glue on those tabs. And stick it in my book. I really love these collage pockets. I think they make it really interesting straight away. So especially, you know, you can definitely embellish over the top of it, but you don't have to. And then we can just put a little glue on here. I feel like I didn't do a very good job with this corner. Probably because I didn't cut it in a very straight line. It'll do. Alright, let's put a little bit of glue on here. And try to slide it in. There we go. Press it down. And then we've got another one of those little guys. Cute. We'll put something on here. You can put a closure on there. I haven't decided yet, and I won't put you through the torture of watching me. Okay, then I've got these two guys here. So let me show you which pockets they are. These are pocket 4, and I've just cut them out of coffee stain paper. And then I've put these little tabs on each of them because we're going to use them with those little guys, and I saved you having to watch me do that again. So I've got 2 of pocket 4s, and these guys are going to be flips. So we're going to trim off the 2 side tabs here. So should I just be brave and use my scissors? Yes. Be brave. Be brave. Okay. Not only am I being brave by using scissors, I'm cutting 2 at a time. See, that wasn't very straight. and here. Lovely. Okay, then I'll do my corners. Just like to round those when I'm using them as flips. Just makes them look a little more professional. Okay, like that. And then I need to find a page to put them on. I fancy a pink page. What's happening with, we've got a pink page. What's on this pink page? Nothing. What's on this pink page? Oh, we've already got those. Yeah, I think here's good. So I'm just going to put some glue on this tab. And don't forget that I'm not doing any embellishing now. I'm just doing the constructing. It's kind of how I work. And I'm just going to put this one on the top. So I know everybody builds their journals differently. I've always been the, whatever I'm doing, I always leave the embellishing till last. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that that's lined up at the top. Yep. And then I'm going to do the same with this one down the bottom. I'll probably embellish these, or maybe put a bit of lace or something on them maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to line it up with the one at the top. Let's have a look. This could probably come over a smidge. I'll just stick that one down like that. So then we've got little bumpers, and you could also do them from one side of the page to the other. That's up to you. And then I'm just going to grab a little bit of ribbon, not that one because that one's just about all gone. This one, and I'm just going to tie it around here. I'm trying to. It's set pretty well. I know I probably should have put a little spacer in there, but no, and that didn't work. Or maybe I should have tried to get this in before I started. It's funny, I did it on the other one all right. There we go. All right, tie knot. Try and get my knot underneath. Okay, should I tie another one? I feel like I should. It just doesn't feel complete without a double knot. There we go. And that one there. And trim that off. And then we can just roll this one around here. It'll loosen up. Come on. Around like that. Maybe back up here. We'll just trim it up about there. Okay, so then we have this little guy here, and I've just used the plain coffee paper, and they'll get a bit thicker once I've embellished them, and they'll also lay a bit flatter after a while. So that's those guys there. Another way to use your pockets. I'll show you in this back section where I did these. I have done them somewhere. There. So there's some there. So then I've got what I've got next. Now we can just pop some plain old pockets on. So I have a couple of the corner pockets. I'm just going to stick those randomly where I feel like it. Might put one on here. Well, let's just have a little flip through, see where we are. Do you do this? Do you spend forever just sort of rifling through? Might put one here. That's the spot for this one. Okay. So put a bit of glue on these tabs. Yeah, I spend forever flipping through because I don't want each of my pockets to be too close to the other one, and then I know I've got some other things that are going in that I want to save some room for that. Okay, and then so maybe this guy should go up the front. Maybe we'll put him on here. Or might put him here. Look nice against that belly band. I really love that collage. I think it looks great. Saves my indecision. I'll pop this one on here. So those are the corner pockets. So the other thing you could do is on your cutting machine, you could shrink this down and then you could have two of these corner pockets stacked on top of each other. That could be cool. And then I have two of these pockets here. These are the big pocket ones. So I've got two of those that I'm just going to pop somewhere. Just somewhere. Let's have a look. Well, on the front page. What else do I have in mind for the front page? I don't know, I might leave that blank for now. Maybe we'll pop one of these on here. Stay open. What have I done with my bulldog clip? It's gone missing. Never mind. Alright, so we're going to put some glue on these tabs here. And this one, and this one, bit of my collaging coming up there. I'll pop that right down here, like so. And put a squash. There we go. And then I've got one more of those. Oh, and I also have one long pocket here that is just to add a coffee stain paper, and I'll probably embellish it later so we can put it in like this. So this, I'm using the A4 pocket too. So if you're using A4 paper, you would use the A4 pockets. If you're using letter size paper, you'd use the letter size pockets. So we have two more pockets to go. Let's have a look where there's a lot of a gap. What have we got? What have we got? Oh, we're doing pretty well. Here we go. Here's a blank page. Let's put this one on there. Sure. Oh, I'm double thinking. I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it. Let's just do it. I might put some lace or something on the edge of this pocket. Who knows? I'm not a big lace user, but this does feel like it's going to be a journal that, you know, would benefit from a bit of lace. Just line that up. Give it a press. Walnut long pocket. Perfect. Okay, one more pocket, one more pocket. Let's have a look. A pocket here. Maybe I'll put it on here. Feels like we don't come across a pocket again for a while, so let's do that. Pop it right there. I love anything on this masking paper. The colour looks great. Okay. Pop that on here. Beautiful. And that's it. So that's all of the pockets for today. So you can see we're starting to get a bit chunkier already with just the pockets and things that we've put in. So let's have a quick look what we've done so far. We have a big pocket there, and then corner pocket, belly band, little flip up pocket, a little slide in Duvamy, and that will definitely flatten out over time, so don't worry about that. And then we have a pocket here, and look at that, you can see the glue through there, so I'm going to have to put something there. I might put another pocket on this side. And then we have our little wallet opening here, so that's pretty cool. And then another one of these little guys. These two acetate pockets. I wonder if that's it. Corner pocket. Oh, these little guys, they're so sweet. I want to do that with everything now. I might do some tags like that so that we're sort of carrying this idea through a little bit. So we've got those. Ooh. Got those. And then, oh, we've got a long pocket here, which we need to embellish. And that's that. And then we have exactly the same thing in the second signature. Starting to feel really nice. Okay, so thanks very much for watching me today, or joining in, watching the merry batch of errors. I'm not used to sort of crafting on the fly. I usually know exactly what I'm going to do on camera before I do it. So thank you for hanging around if you are still here. So just as a reminder, I used this Done by Dorothy set of 6 digital kits, and also the journal pack, and I'll put the links to both of these Etsy stores in the description box. Otherwise, we've got some more pockets to do next, but they're different, and I'll see you again soon, hopefully, to do those pockets. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Bye.